What's good, leaders? Welcome back to another episode of Newer Leaders Podcast. I'm your host, Kyhir Green. And today, this episode is special. We got a special guest, and that's me. All right. So, a couple people had some questions that they wanted to ask me. And so I thought, I sit down, do an episode with just me, answer the questions that y'all got for me as a way for y'all to get a better understanding of me, the channel, what it's for, and things like that. Just like I would sit and speak with somebody else and ask them questions. The leaders, which is y'all are able to ask me questions. And we gonna do this pretty frequently. So I got my brother Woo behind the camera. Bro, gonna be he gonna be controlling everything. He gonna be asking me questions, and we gonna go from there, man. So just like everybody else do the introduction, I'm gonna do my formal introduction. I'm Kyhir Green. I like to consider myself as I do a little bit of everything. A little bit of motivational speaking, community activist, clothing brand owner, podcast host, do a little bit of everything. But go ahead, I'm ready when you are, man.
What inspired you to create New World Leaders podcast platform?
All right. New World Leaders podcast platform stemmed from it stemmed from an incident that happened years ago, not years ago, like long ago, but in 2021. I spoke about it in the pilot episode of the podcast, but stemmed from the loss of a brother of mine, Sakari Johnson. He was the owner of Premier Band. Losing him really sparked something in me to create something where I would be able to inspire people, connect with people, um, and just inspire them to keep going. From there, I created the brand, but Newer Leaders Podcast came from, really came from me doing community work. The community work really sparked it because as I was doing, the community work and talking to people a lot, I got a chance to, hear people's stories. And I wanted to highlight these individuals and their stories. I believe that in our city we got a lot of talent, people that do a lot of great things, different from what we may see on a day to day basis, and they just don't have the platform or anything like that as a way to get themselves out there, get out what they're doing. So Newer Leaders Podcast is a platform that highlights young individuals that are doing, positive things, great things as a way to inspire their peers to do, make better decisions, and do great things and show them that, it's different ways to reach a place of success other than, playing sports or, doing things like that. What we think, a lot of us think that's all we can do. It's a lot more to do than, playing football, basketball, things like that. Being around is a lot of other ways that you can reach success. And also, bringing, individuals who have a lot more wisdom onto the platform and allowing them to share, give the younger individuals knowledge and allow them to learn from their experiences so we won't have to go through the same things that they did. We're able to take a bit of a little bit of shortcuts and have tools at our disposal now rather than having to figure this stuff out later. So it's a way to Newer Leaders Podcast will is a way to bridge the gap, really.
What are your future plans with New World Leaders podcast and Lay Desire Paradise?
Oh, Ladies Eye Paris. All right, my future plans with New World Leaders Podcast and Latest Eye Paris. Eventually, I want it all to tie into my nonprofit, which is the CASO Foundation, which stands for Creating a Stronger Opportunity. Um, Eventually, these things will tie into one another by providing young individuals with job opportunities, a safe space, um, and allowing them to just be creative, and honestly be themselves. Providing them with tools that's needed so that they can, do the things that they want to do, whether it's cook food, record music, record a podcast, study, whatever it is that they need to do, just setting them up for success. Um, each of these things will pour back into the community and provide the community and the individuals in the community with tools that they need to be successful. So that's my future plans with these businesses and these platforms.
What do you feel like is the best motivation for you?
Mm. I'm gonna be real honest with y'all when I say this. At a young age, growing up, I was always the one that questioned everything. I was always the curious child, questioning, why do people think like this? Why do people choose to do this and things like that? I mean, if I'm being honest, my greatest motivation is thinking about the people that came before me and knowing that I don't want to live like that. I don't want to have that mindset. For a lot of our parents, grandparents, and things like that, they have a mindset of like all that they can do is struggle and go to work and dedicate their whole well-being to just being in survival mode, if I could say that. I do not want to be in survival mode, and go about life in survival mode. And I honestly use that as something that motivates me. Like, if I want to not be like that, I need to do something different. And me being curious, my curiosity is something that helped me get, to where I am today and obtain the mindset that I had by asking people questions. Being connected to people that are in positions of power or are successful, just sitting with them like, what's three things that helps you get to where you are today and things like that, or how do you can push through tough times, or just talking to people in general. I like to pick people's brains. But my curiosity definitely got me here, and that's something that motivates me a lot. That, and people that I look up to.
Talking back about your connections, how do you maintain your connections?
Man, I maintain my connections by man, that's a great question. If I'm being honest, I maintain the connections by making sure that I always keep my face clean. And to break that down, we gonna use it in the sense of like street credit or street credit in a way. Um, just like with regular credit, people don't know who you are. You want something from them. They can only go based off of your report, right? Your credit. If you have bad credit, they may not want to approve you for something. They may not want to, look out for you, provide you with something because you have bad credit. You're high risk. You got okay credit. It's like, all right, we'll do it, but it's going to come at this cost. If you got good credit, great credit, people, they'll provide you with what you need with no questions asked. For me, I understood how important it is to keep your face clean, and just like allow people to know, like, you mean business, you're a good person, you stand you actually have morals and things like that, and you value things in life. I understood that from being around the people that I'm around. Sakar, Woo, my brother Woo behind the camera, my man Mike Lowry, those individuals, people like that, they taught me the importance of just keeping your face clean when it comes down to connections, and that's something that helps me gain more connections and maintain the ones that I have now. Because when I come across people and they know, like, man, it's a good dude, he does a lot of great things. honest, has integrity, all of these type of things. When they come across things that they feel like I would be a good fit for, they're willing to go in these spaces and say, "Man, I know somebody that do this, woo, woo, woo," and they speak about me and they connect me with other people, so that helps me grow my network. But just keeping, my face clean or my street cred good is something that definitely helps me maintain my connections.
What strategies do you use to stay ahead?
Study a lot, study a lot, read. Um, that's two things that really help me stay ahead. A lot of people, they shy away from books, but books are a powerful tool. Books taught me a lot, whether it was expanding my vocabulary, help me change the way I look at something. They provided me with a lot of game, and me being curious, I study a lot. I spend a lot of time looking stuff up. Watch, like, for example, watch podcasts, and I study, like, how the flow is, how do they, you know what do they how do they structure everything. So me studying is something that keeps me ahead, or it helps me stay on top of everything, make sure everything is up to par. So definitely, y'all, definitely study what y'all want to do, definitely.
What role has mentorship played in your business development?
mm. Mentorship, man, that played a heavy role in my development. Big shout out to Workout Landlord, my guy Ant. Great mentor. You know, he taught me a lot of things that not only can, help me, better myself and my family, but just mentally change my perspective on a lot of things and how I look at stuff. So having a chance to be with him, have him as a mentor, that definitely helped me, as far as business wise, because when I was younger, I always was like business minded, but I didn't fully understand, the game behind certain things. And for somebody like him, he's been doing this thing for a while, and he helped me better understand, the business side of things, especially when it come down to like real estate and things like that, nonprofits, all of that type of stuff. He really helped me understand the business side of it, because it's a business to everything, and in order to maintain certain things, or entrepreneur, being an entrepreneur, you got to understand the business side of the business side of everything. You got to understand the paperwork. Something that he told me, or something that he said to me, that I like to tell other people, is the paperwork make the paperwork. And some people might be like, well, what do you mean by that? And the best way I could sum it up is, as long as what's in black and white is structured the correct way, your money will flow. So definitely big shout out to Ant. And before Ant, even now, Sakara was definitely a mentor of mine, and still is a mentor of mine to this day. I use all of the conversations that we've had, things that they've told me, as a way to navigate through certain moments. Mentorship definitely plays a big role in, like, just moving on with everyday life, even if it's not in business, even if it's just life. Mentorship is something that definitely helps. So if you can have a direct mentor, definitely get one. Or even if you just got somebody that you watch a lot. Like I never really formally met, like, well, I have. I've came across him, but formally, like, really, like, sat down, spoke with Wallow 267. That's a mentor of mine. I watch him a lot. I watch all of his podcasts, especially when he sit down on other people's platforms and talk about, tell his story. Definitely those three are like I would consider my mentors, and they help me get through a lot.
If you had to start over from scratch, what would you do differently?
If I had to start everything over from scratch, I wouldn't care about people's opinions, uh, or what they thought. Early on, I would say I consider myself a perfectionist, or I needed things to be perfect. I needed to have the best this, or I needed to have this and that in order to get things done. And that's something that, it hurt it I would say it hurt me a lot, or like it delayed a lot of things. Or like even ideas that I had just never got put into play. Solely because of that, caring about not having certain things, it hurt me in a way. So if I had to start over, I would definitely go back and not really care about not having certain tools, and focus on utilizing what I have in front of me. Cause even now, from back then when I, first started doing this stuff to now, the biggest difference I see is now that, I don't really care about opinions at all. And I don't try to keep things perfect. I just do it. If I don't have things planned out, I just attack, or I make it happen, take that first step, and I figure it out as I go. And I started to see that with me doing that, a lot of things just started, all the ideas that I had, or things that come to mind, it just started to happen. And, eventually, even if I didn't have a plan or what I thought of was a plan, all of it worked out in a way.
How important is credit to you?
Credit as in like a credit score.
Mm-hmm.
So credit is really, really, really important. I learned the importance of credit from working with Ant, workout landlord. I learned the importance of credit from working with him. I had, like, as I was growing up, I knew what credit was, but I didn't know how far it would take you. And having good credit will take you far. It'll open up doors for you, a lot of doors, and it'll allow you, as once again, as long as you understand the game and the business side of things, it will allow you to play, play with, or I wouldn't say play, it would allow you to utilize other people's money, or like institution banks money, as a way to, fulfill your dreams or accomplish your goals. Credit is something that, if you use it the correct way, it'll take you far. Especially when you get into, like, business credit and things like that. You get like business lines of credit that open that you get even more money you could, utilize for things. And being with Ant, he showed me, how far credit can take you. It could fund projects that you have. That grants, it definitely take you far. So keep up on your credit. I drop a gem. This is something that I got from being with Ant. You know, starting off, you don't have any credit built, or you're trying to build your credit. Some tools that I could give y'all. Self lender. That's something that y'all can use to build y'all credit. Kickoff, that's another thing that y'all can use for, to build y'all credit. Those two things, they work as like primary accounts. So you pay a monthly subscription. I believe Self is about close to $30 a month. Kickoff is about $5. And in return, they'll report to the credit bureaus as if like you receive, you have a loan. And you're paying it off. Paying those on time helps with your payment history. And they also report like good credit utilization and things like that. So that's two things that y'all can use to, help strengthen y'all credit report, because your credit report, is definitely important.
What are three values in a brand that will help them be successful?
Three values in a brand that will help them be successful. When I say this, I don't want people to think like just like clothing or anything like that, because that's something that a lot of people think like a brand mean. You got a business, you starting something, you are, a brand. You got a company, that's a brand. uh I'm gonna use the three that I came up with Late Desire Paris: discipline, dedication, and determination. Those three things is something that I feel like will help any brand, be successful. And I came up with those three D's from speaking to other people who have successful brands themselves, by asking them, what are three values that help them get to where they are today. And I saw a trend of those three things, or something along those lines, being said from each of these individuals. And with that, I understood that those three things are like really important if you want to get far with business.
How important is it to have a team in business?
Having a team is super important, but not just any team. Having a team that's willing to, play their part, and want to see the team win, is definitely important. I understood the importance of that after working with Sakar. Had a team that everybody played their part. If you ask me, it was like a dream team. And after having that experience, I realized that having a team can take you far. Because eventually everybody will get to a space where you can't be in three rooms at once. You can't be in a meeting. You can't, be, at the office, taking care of paperwork, and you can't be we just gonna use those two. You can't be in two places at once. You're gonna need somebody, to take care of the paperwork while you're in a meeting to help, get funding for the business so, everybody can get a raise or, the company can grow and things like that. And having individuals surrounding yourself with people or a team that, wanna see you win is definitely important. And it would definitely help you out.
Can you share a time when failure taught you a valuable lesson in business?
Mm, all right. I'm gonna go back to a time with the brand, Les Desire Paris. So I wouldn't I wouldn't say like failure because I look at all these things as lessons. Um, it was a time where I ordered a load of clothes, a bunch of hoodies, and I was focused on like selling out the whole load. And I didn't do that. I spent about almost $1,000 to get the load. Um, and I only sold about like 3 units. I believe it was like 30 units that I had. I only sold about like three or four. It wasn't many. And I found myself sitting on a bunch of product for a while. And I was like, well, I wonder, why is it sitting? I felt like I did what I needed to do. As far as posting content and things like that. But from that moment, I realized that I didn't do enough. I wasn't as consistent with posting. I would post like one thing, then just let it sit, then post something else 2 weeks later, let it sit, and I didn't, take advantage of all of the opportunities that were in front of me as far as like going to pop up shops, letting people know what the brand, what Les Desire Paris was, because then they like even now, like people know who I am, or like they may know of my face because of all of the stuff that I done did, but not many people really know that what I've created. And so that's something that I learned, like, yeah, I was posting but I wasn't posting enough, and that taught me a lesson of like, yeah, I need to get more consistent when it come down to letting people know, what it is that I do.
What role does company culture play in your overall business strategy?
It plays a big role because I feel like if you wanna have like a community based um business, people gotta relate to you. Um, if you want to have like we gonna use a brand for example. If you want to have a brand that is centered around like community, or like feels more like family more than anything, and not just you selling clothes or anything like that. You want people to really feel like a deeper connection. People gotta be able to relate to you. Um, and once people can relate to you, it'll help build that family feel. And people will be more likely to come back, be a returning customer, go tell other people about your business. So utilizing having that mindset, especially with like the brand or just in general, uh it helps me figure out ways to it helps me figure out ways for people to be able to relate to everything that I do, or at least find a way to make it relatable. You gotta say you gotta
I got a question. Um, from the how old are you now?
I'm 19 now. I'll be 20 in November.
You're 19 now. Within the next 5 years, what do you see yourself?
Ah, 5 years from now,
Where do
be
you see yourself,
24.
and what do you see yourself doing?
If I'm being honest, 5 years from now, I still see myself at a level of grinding and putting in work to really establish the foundation for everything. Um, People would tell me like, yeah, you're doing a lot of work right now, or you did a lot. I feel like it's a lot more work that need to be done. I feel like it's a lot more that I need to do. Putting systems in place, because I realize systems is something that helps run the business, help the business run. You gotta have systems in place. In 5 years, I would say 5 years from now, I see myself in meetings, connecting with people, traveling as a way to go out, connect with people, get resources and bring it back to the community. Um, Doing bigger events, community events. 5 years from now, I definitely see myself with a community resource building, where younger individuals will be able to come in at no cost to them. Come in, they have a podcast studio, a recording studio, a kitchen if they want to cook food, they want to indulge in culinary arts. Therapists on site, for as a way for them, come in, speak with a therapist if needed. Tutoring, things like that. uh I'll be hosting all of the community events there instead of going to other places. But 5 years from now, I definitely see myself work still, putting in the work to build the foundation for all of this stuff.
5 years ago, you were 14, correct?
Yeah.
What advice could you give your 14-year-old self?
Ah, stay curious, be yourself. Stay curious and continue to be yourself. 5 years ago, 14, I didn't think that I would be doing all of this stuff, honestly. And I didn't think that I would, be able to help this many people, come in contact with this many people, inspire this many people. Um, my 14-year-old self, I would definitely say, stay curious. My curiosity took me far. Just continue to be myself. I always, been myself, been authentic, just been me, did my own thing, and that's another thing that definitely got me far.
What advice would you give to the youth?
Advice that I would give to my peers, man, be careful with the decisions that you make. Surround yourself with great people, people that want to see you win. If Don't surround yourself with yes men, people that's just going to agree with everything that you say, or think everything that you do is thorough. Surround yourself with people that's going to call you out on the corny stuff that you do, the nut stuff that you do. If you slipping, they need to be able to tell you that. Um, and yeah, really, really like pay attention to the decisions that y'all make. We got a lot of things that we make decisions that have put us in harm's way, put us in predicaments that we don't want to be in, or we can't really come back from. And we gotta really pay attention to the decisions that we making, man, and people that surround ourselves with. I'm sure anybody that you can think of somebody that done been around the wrong stuff, and had to be in a situation, or had a consequence from being around the wrong individuals and things like that. You gotta really pay attention to who you surround yourself with.
In what ways has technology transformed how you operate your business?
Many ways. I talk to ChatGPT damn near every night. I, I talk to ChatGPT damn near every night about how to how do I do something better, um, my business plan, where what can I critique to make it give it, make it more sturdy. I talk to ChatGPT often, like all the time. When I got a business plan or something like that, or an idea, I ask it. I tell it like, "Yo, this is the plan. This is what I got in mind. Uh, how would you go about it? Or using this, tell me what I could strengthen. What could make this stronger?" Technology definitely play a huge role in helping me run my business. To it, ChatGPT definitely do a lot for me. If y'all got a business, utilize it for sure.
What's your top three books that help mold you into the person you are today?
All right, it's crazy. I got one of these. I got one of these books in my bag right now. I'm gonna show it to y'all. I got a book that I would recommend to. Uh, I would say anybody. If you a teenager, man, you a teenager. I recommend the book to y'all. Um, this book right here is called The Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens. Um, I found this in bookstore on what is that, 40th Street. I was in there and I found this book. I believe I was in what was I in my junior year of high school. And I read this. What, I'm on my third time reading this now. Um, it taught me a lot. And the one thing that I could definitely highlight in this book, it taught me to change how I looked at things, my perspective. Uh, like for example, if something it's something that it used in this book was, it talked about a football player, who felt like he was better than everybody on the team. He wasn't putting in extra hours at practice. He was just doing just enough, and he got benched. And he was questioning like, man, like, I'm the best. Like, I feel like I'm the best on the team. But to the coach, he wasn't putting in the work. So behind the scenes, he started, putting in extra hours at practice, staying later, studying more film. And eventually, he got put back in the game, and he was able to help the team win a championship and throw a touchdown pass, and that actually got him recognized by a lot of individuals. And then this book helped me like expand my vocabulary. I learned the word in here that I'll never forget. Paradigm. Is another word that's like, talks is another word for like perspective, basically. This is one book I would recommend. Another one is The 48 Laws of Power. And Taking the Work Out of Networking. Uh, those are like three books that I read early on, and they've helped me out a lot. If you don't read, get into it. It is a start. Even if you guys start listening to audiobooks, that's that's just as good. But definitely I would recommend this book right here to anybody who's a teenager, whatever. Even if you I recommend it to anybody really, but definitely if you and your teens, read this book. It's crazy. This book definitely got a lot in it, man. And like I know I know a lot of people like they don't like reading books with like just like words in there. The author actually paid attention to that, so they added in some visuals for you to look at, while you read, and it's not just words.
Would you go back and change any mistake you made in business?
No, I wouldn't go back and change. Wouldn't go back and change anything. Um, if I made a mistake early on, I feel like I did it for a reason. And ultimately, all of the mistakes that I've made, I've learned a lesson from it. And it got me to where I am today. Gave me the understanding that I have today. I wouldn't go back and change any mistake, because if I'd never made the mistake, I would have never learned the lesson. So I would not go back and change anything. Yeah, I wouldn't go back and change anything. I learned a lot from the mistakes that I made in business. Um, Taught me a lot, and without those lessons, I wouldn't be here, wouldn't have created the things that I've created, wouldn't connected with the people I've connected with, or wouldn't be able to, tell people the information that I tell them, give out the game that I give, and things like that. I wouldn't be able to do it without learning those lessons. So yeah, I wouldn't go back and change anything. Um, but I do want to say, I want to do these episodes. I actually enjoy answering, the questions that y'all ask me. So frequently we're gonna do episodes like this. I'm gonna sit down and answer questions that y'all might want to know, or y'all might have for me. Y'all get to ask me about myself, whatever y'all feel y'all want to ask, as long as it's not too off the walls. Uh, y'all ask me questions. I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna answer them. Uh, yeah, that's it. That's it for this episode. We got a lot of stuff planned. A bunch of guests coming on. That's gonna drop some jewels for y'all. Give y'all a game. We got an episode coming up that I'm really looking forward to, and it's crazy because this individual, I actually was a part of something that they run years ago. I did not know that this was his. He was on the board for this thing. But y'all will see. We definitely got a lot of people that's coming on here to give out games. So make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend about the movement. I dropped the links to these books that I spoke about in the description of the video, so y'all can go get them. Y'all can find them at your local bookstore or on Amazon, something like that. Barnes and Noble's website, all that type of stuff. Yeah, man. That's it. Y'all know the motto. We'll see y'all in the next one, man.